Thank you very much, Dr. Bindya Kumarji, for your gracious words and kind introduction. And thank you all who are present here, the audience, for very warm reception. Faculty members and administrators of the IGIMS, distinguished guests, family members and friends of the graduates, and of course, you, the 2025 graduates of the IGIMS School of Medicine. I am truly delighted and honored to be your convocation speaker. Now, over the years, I have been privileged to deliver a fair number of convocation addresses and speaking to medical graduates, even though I have no personal knowledge of the subjects which you have studied with devotion for a long period of time. But the only thing which gives me courage to speak to you is the fact that I had done, I do not know by which name the course is known today, but when I was a student, I went to the university, I had done pre-medical course. But since I was underage, I could not appear for the entrance test. I could have spent one more year to prepare myself, but my heart was somewhere else. And I was able to persuade my family, who were very keen to see me. They really wished that I become a doctor. But I was able to persuade them to allow me to join humanities. And I promised them that during this year, I will keep preparing myself. But I shifted to humanities. So that gives me courage that at least I have done PMC and I may have some idea, and I can speak to you who are really devoted, who have devotedly pursued the knowledge of medicine, science of medicine. Though, as I said earlier, I had hugely disappointed my family by not pursuing medical career, but my parents were incredibly happy when I told them in 1985 that I have received an invitation from a medical college in Chennai to give convocation address. They were really happy. Dear graduating students of IGIMS, this is a watershed moment in your life. The moment of leaving your nest, hostel, friends, and teachers, and going out into the big wide world. You will face many challenges in pursuing your ambitions. People have different ambitions. Some of you will want to be great physicians and surgeons, breaking new ground, creating new products and new wealth. Some will want to be researchers, pursue higher studies, looking at our chaotic world and try to discover the mysterious ways of society. Unearthing new ideas and views that could leave a mark on human thinking, the way the great practitioners of medicine have done in the past. In pursuing these ends, you will face good times, you will face bad times, days of hope and despair. Whatever be the situation, but I hope that you will always keep in mind the words of a wise man, and I quote, "Ambition uninspired by an ideal of character makes the youth unscrupulous. For scruples come in the way of your ambition, and unchecked ambition gives rise, harsh words, gives rise to rascality." In our Indian tradition, this check, it is perfectly okay to be ambitious. If you are not ambitious, there is something missing in you. But there is something called maryada, something in our tradition which is called dam, self-restraint, control over one's desires, certain moral limits, certain ethical standards. And it has been, great importance has been attached to this value in our Indian tradition. It has been asserted, dharmasya vidhai neko, yeve prokta maharshi bhi, swayam swayam vijnanam ashrite, damaste sham parayana. The sages, the wise people, thought leaders, dharma is not religion. Dharma is code of civilized conduct. If we really want to understand what dharma means in our tradition, because we have been under political domination for such a long period of time and we were told that dharma is synonym of religion, we have accepted it. Religion is totally different, dharma is different. It's a different concept. To give you an example, to understand what really dharma means in our tradition, at the time of going to the forest, Mahabharata, you will see this story. At the time of going to the forest, when Pandavas had tried their best to persuade the elders not to leave the palace, but they stuck to their decision. They went to say them goodbye. After traversing some distance, Kunti told her sons, addressing Yudhishthira, the eldest one, Nirvaswa Kuru Shresht, Bhim Siya Divi Saha, Dharmete Dhyatam Buddhi, Mansate Mahatastucha. Now go back with your brothers to the capital. Perform your duties. Dharmete Dhyatam Buddhi, and your reason must be established in righteousness. And your heart should be big enough to accommodate people of all diverse backgrounds. This is what is meant by the dharma. It is not performance of certain karma kand. In fact, I suddenly recall, there is a beautiful verse in Quran. which says, Inna Allah yahulu bainal mar'i wa qalbi. We have ambition, we have desires, but the book tells us that it is, the best check on our ambition is our conscience. Even if when in private we know that nobody is watching us. If we want to do something which is very tempting but immoral, unethical, then there is some inner voice which tells us that we should not do it. The Quranic line says, it is God who comes between you and your unwholesome desires. It is up to us whether to listen to that inner voice, that call of the conscience or not, but to live a humane life, to live a civilized life. The basic requirement is that we have control. We pursue our ambitions while upholding ethical and moral standards. Your journey as medical students has been truly exceptional. For you persevered in your training despite profound upheavals, constraints, and losses caused by the historic COVID-19 pandemic. Consciously or subconsciously, each of you will carry an imprint of this public health crisis that intruded upon your formal education as well as on your personal lives. I have enormous respect for your dedication that allowed you to successfully complete your medical training under these very difficult circumstances. Now that the crisis is over, I hope you will appreciate that alongside the pain, suffering, and disruption, the pandemic actually offered you, every one of us, once in a lifetime learning opportunity from which to launch your medical career. In addition, it helped you to build your own adaptability and resilience. I am sure these qualities will serve you well in future endeavors as medical professionals. One major lesson of the crisis caused by the pandemic is that disease anywhere is threat to health everywhere. Second lesson is expect the unexpected. Unlike other viruses, COVID was transmitted from infected persons who apparently showed no symptoms. Situation worse, the virus continually mutated to escape our immune defenses, causing successive waves of infection, hospitalizations, and unfortunate deaths. The way the crisis developed, it not only humbled us, but also reminded us that when facing novel challenges in life, any prediction we make about what will happen next or how a situation will evolve must always be provisional. To develop scientific attitude is a constitutional obligation, constitutional duty. But during COVID crisis, we have seen the insidious nature of anti-science proclivities. In India, within a year of emergence of COVID, our doctors, medical fraternity, our scientists produced a vaccine that went into the arms of not only Indians, but we supplied the vaccine to many other countries. This record-breaking timeline became possible only because in decades prior to COVID, India had invested steadily in fundamental research on immunology, on viruses, vaccine platforms, all of which was used to develop COVID vaccine, which saved millions of lives. But during this time, anti-science forces accelerated their attempts to denigrate scientific evidence and data and ridiculed science-based medicines, giving rise to conspiracy theories. In our daily lives, we often see the normalization and casual acceptance of untruths. This needs to be pushed back to ensure our march towards progress, or what is described by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi as building of Viksit Bharat by 2047. As young doctors, you are our best hope to push back on these destructive forces with civility, but also with all strength you have as physicians with insights into evidence-based medicines. Do your best to listen to doubts and concerns, and in turn communicate with compassion with your patients, to the media, and to anyone who will listen, and explain the facts which you possess. As you leave this prestigious institution, you are obliged to help people to understand and to follow the best available science-based information. You know, I joined, God is very kind, I joined here in Bihar as head of the state in the first week of January. But before I left Tiruvendra, I had myself had COVID twice, and after that, some pre-existing condition that worsened, and I had to go for dental treatment. But I remember the day when 2 days before coming to Patna, I went to the medical college for one sitting and told the doctors who were attending on me, this is the kind of impression which even a person like me had about Bihar. I told the doctors, I said, sir, I'm going from Kerala, but I will keep coming back for continuing my dental treatment. Because I'm not sure what kind of facilities will be available here. And I want to share this with you. I was so happily surprised when I came to IGIMS to continue the dental treatment. And Dr. Naveen Mishra attended me. I was hugely impressed, not only by his skill, by his knowledge, But in Kerala, which is considered as the state since last 50 years, which has the best medical facilities in India, and the Kerala standards are compared only with Western Europe. And in child care, and what is the second name with child care? Yeah. Now Kerala has gone even ahead of Western Europe. It is comparable only with the Scandinavian countries. But I am so happy to share it with you that I was so surprised that not only the doctors are very good, highly professional, knowledgeable, but even the technological devices, if I say that they are even better than Kerala, that it won't be exaggeration. Kerala, they used to take me to the side room for the X-ray. And Dr. Mishra did the same X-ray while I was sitting on that patient's chair. Similarly, I went for my regular checkup of my eyes, because I spend a lot of time in computer. I am one of the oldest users of using computer since 1990. So that has caused certain amount of dryness in my eyes. So I go for regular checkup. And it was unbelievable for me to meet Dr. Vibhuti Pirsam Sinha and his team there, to be examined by them, and the state of art technology. And I'm not speaking to you only because I'm talking of the same institution with which you are associated. I have mentioned it at so many places, not in Bihar, outside Bihar, even in Kerala. I compliment you, sir, and I wish you all the best, and I am confident that in coming years, you will become a premium institution of the country. We are proud of it. Now I am going to say a few words about the role of the doctors, what the society expects from them. A reputed American physician, Dr. Francis Peabody, he told his students, he said, and I quote, "One of the essential qualities of a physician is her interest in humanity. For the secret of the care of the patient is in caring for the patient." We live in a technology-driven world, but all modern devices like CT scan, robotics, or artificial intelligence, important as they are, do not care for your patient. It is you and your compassion and your humane communication are the keys to optimal patient care. I encourage you to always keep it in mind. Here I must share a small story of a young medical student which I had read few years back in the autobiography of her teacher. The young medical student had started her clinical rotations and had been part of a team delivering a baby. All members of the team were at the foot of the bed, working to bring that baby out of the womb into the world. At that time, this student, everybody was standing there, but she looked at the face of the mother who was in excruciating pain, grimacing, moaning and crying out. The young student, seeing the suffering and pain of the mother, went to her side, took her hand in her own hands lovingly, and comforted the mother. Later, the senior doctor, the teacher, he has written this in his autobiography, that I told that student, you are going to be the kind of physician the world needs. What she did, and he said, he added, what she did was an act of compassion, an act of courage. I am confident that as healers of pain, you will depend more on taking care of the patients with empathy and compassion, sensitivity. We are keen. Now I'm saying few words, speaking on behalf of the central government and the state government, that we are keen to improve our health standards because our Indian cultural tradition regards health as the means of wealth, happiness and progress as outlined in the prayer which was invocation, which was offered by young students while at the start of this program. Our tradition says, Arogyam Param Bhagyam, Swasthyam Paramarth Sadhanam. And you had also quoted a line of our great poet, Kalidas, which he has written in Kumar Sambhavam, Sharir Madhyam Khalu Sarvdharm Sadhanam. Khalu Dharm Sadhanam, which means that a healthy body is absolutely essential to do a righteous deed. The highest Indian ideal is realization of the supreme truth. But even this spiritual fulfillment is not for the weak, for the unhealthy. Nayam Atma Balhine na Labhya. In tune with this mindset, India has been working towards the synthesis of the best of modern and traditional medicines, as has been suggested by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, who has been regularly highlighting the importance of a holistic health care approach. I would like to compliment you. Again, I am addressing those who are going to receive their awards and degrees today, that I would like to compliment you for choosing the noble calling of medicine as your career. I am in full agreement with a Roman philosopher who said, and I quote, "People pay the doctor for his trouble, but for his kindness, they always remain in his debt." We can never pay you back really for the care, for your humanness, for your kindness, for your compassion, and for your care. Our own Ayurveda Vangme says, Kvachid Artha, Kvachid Dharma, Kvachid Maitri, Kvachid Yasha, Karm Abhyasa, Kvachit Cheti Chikitsa Nasti Nishphala. Our tradition says that the profession of the doctor, of the healer, those who practice medicine, it tells them that sometimes your skills, your profession bring you money. Sometimes it brings you great reputation. Sometimes it is great fame. Sometimes it is you earn friendship of great people. And the practice of the medicine is never goes fruitless. I have taken so much of your time talking about issues which are of serious nature. But I would like to conclude. The story is interesting, bit humorous, but underlines the importance of the profession of medicine. In a garage, the mechanic who was removing a cylinder head from the car, the mechanic spotted a doctor who was waiting there. He had come to the garage to get some problem in his car fixed. The mechanic shouted across the garage, "Hey doctor, can I ask you a question?" The famous surgeon, a bit surprised, walked over to the mechanic working on the automobile. The mechanic asked, "So doc, look at this engine on which he was working. I also open it, take valves out, fix them, put in new parts, and when I finish, this will work just like a new machine. So how come I get paid so little, pittance, whereas you really get big money when you and are doing basically the same job?" The surgeon paused, smiled, and leaned over and whispered to the mechanic, "Try the same when the engine is running." So the moral of the story is, a car does not react with a mechanic, but a human being does. Once again, congratulations to you, your families, proud families, who now realize the wisdom of their decision to invest in you, to pursue medical career, and your friends and your loved ones. My best wishes to you all. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Dhanyavad. Jai Hind.